Hey, what's good, man? This is Glory Boy. This is the East Even Child podcast. We have a special guest. She's very special because I've known her for a while. And we just connected once again, and we wanted to do this little interview just, because she's been doing so good for herself. She's been doing real estate and everything else she's gonna be talking about later on throughout this interview. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but first though, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share this video for more upcoming videos. All right. So yeah, this is Glory Boy, and yeah, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Just say your name, what you do, where you're from. Yeah, that's about it, and then we could get started.
Cool. Hey everyone, my name is Monet. I am a real estate investment agent here in Atlanta, Georgia. I work with hundreds of investors, landlords, developers, to pretty much bring them off-market properties in our area. Me and my team, we do about 60 to 70 transactions a month. And we're just looking to connect with more people, whether you're looking to get started in real estate or whether you're looking to build your portfolio. That's what I'm here for. That's what I focus on.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, I heard her. And Mona, I mean, basically, I let people actually say their social media account, for example, Instagram, so that way you can have the viewers go ahead and just follow, maybe check out your work as an investor, because I know you be posting constantly, just showing your progress as going forward. So yeah, you could go ahead and just tell them your Instagram as well.
Yeah, so my Instagram it's underscore my first name Monet, period Brown, and then underscore. If you type in like Monet Brown, it should pop up, and then you'll see me.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, I heard that. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it also on the screen so that way they'll be able to see it. Perfect. And yeah, let's get this started. So Monet, I mean, you say you are a real estate investor, and how long have you been doing that? And yeah, you can just tell us based on your personal experience.
Yeah, so it was crazy. I actually been doing real estate for about 3 years. I started actually in college. Um, I guess even before that, my first introduction to real estate was actually through my grandparents. So I remember like senior year, me and my grandmother, we were sitting at the table and we were doing like a puzzle. And my grandparents at the time, they owned two rental properties. And my grandfather came home from collecting the rent for that month. And he just slapped, it was like $900 cash on the table. And my grandmother, she said to me, she said, Monet, I just made $900 while we're doing a puzzle. And that kind of like sparked something in me. So I kind of like downloaded that. And then when I got to college, the same college that I met Glory at, I think he went to a different college in
Yeah, I
Buffalo.
went to a different college, but it's in
Yeah.
the area.
Yeah, right. I went to Buffalo State, and that's kind of where I started to actively get into it. At the time, I actually wanted to buy my own rental property, but after doing some research, I realized that I was broke. I had no credit, and I just couldn't really afford to get into it. So during my research on YouTube, literally, I just came across wholesaling, and I did my first deal. I say in like 4 weeks after I learned about it, which was pretty cool. It was right in Buffalo, made like $1,500. And then I kind of just kept everything going from there. I did like a few deals here and there. I moved back home, did some deals there. And then recently last year, I moved to Atlanta, thinking I was going to do wholesaling by myself, and ended up finding this brokerage that does it on a much larger scale. So I started working with them, and now we do, 60 properties a month. So
60 properties a month.
yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's pretty
That's
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, one other thing is, I mean, you mentioned about school. I mean, as a real estate investor, I mean, were you able to at least complete your education? If not, are you planning to go back as you're getting more and more successful within that field of real estate?
So no, I would say like half. I would say I think it's the first semester of my second year. I just dropped out. It was like during COVID and everything. For one, I felt like the quality of the classes just went down and I wasn't really learning anything. And at the same time, I was doing so well in real estate, I didn't really see a need for college anymore.
Yeah.
You really don't need, a college education to do well in real estate. So I just knew that I just wanted to do real estate and I wanted to do it really well. So honestly, I took the rest of the money that I had and I just put it into like courses and classes outside of that. I started going to a lot of meetups, reading a lot more books, kind of just doing self-education because at the end of the day, you do need to be educated, of course. And that's
Definitely.
really, what I base my education on.
And I've seen that you're very dedicated when you say like, okay, let me pick up this book and learn. Like I've seen that through like just knowing you as a person. And yeah, another thing is are you being in school, what did you study? Like what was your major before thinking about real estate? Was your major towards like business, marketing and stuff like that, or was it
No,
totally like different?
no, so I actually changed my major like four times. It was funny.
Four
Um,
times in your second year.
Four times, yeah, between my first and second year, I changed it four times
Man.
because I didn't really want to drop out initially. I wanted to
Yeah,
like stay, you know what I mean? Your parents invest money into it, you invest time. So it
right,
wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna leave it. I was trying to find a way to incorporate college into real estate, but it just didn't work. So I started in psychology. And once I realized I wanted to do real estate, I quickly left psychology. Then I
right,
went into like economics, and then I went into like finance, and then I went into it was like this development major, something like that. I don't know, or it was a minor. But I did each of those, and at the last major that I chose, I was like, no, this is nothing compared. This is
right.
nothing compared to what I've been learning with these other courses that I'm taking. So I'm like, I might as well just take my money elsewhere and keep it moving.
No, I feel you. It be like that sometimes. I've heard people that me, I can speak on my brother and whatever. Like this dude have changed. Like he changed his major when he was in college, like
Mm-hmm.
three, four times, and from just business, computer science to this, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I understand because a lot of things does change as you move forward. Not to jump like off board, but I remember you used to do car rental business.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that go? And are you still doing it, or you was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a little pause on this and focus on real estate?
Yeah. So I still do the car rental business. It's more of like a side thing now.
Right,
Just as like another stream of income. When I started it at the time, that's when real estate was kind of slow for me. So I was looking for another way to make money, to be honest. Because at that point, I have dropped out of school. My grandparents are like, hey, figure it out. My parents are like, hey, figure it out if you're not in school anymore. So it was like hustle, hustle mode, if that makes sense. So I was doing like just all different kinds of jobs that I could find, just anything to make money. And then when I came across the car rental business, I'm like, this
right,
is very passive. So it should be simple for me to do it. And it was. The concept is very simple. You purchase a car, you can sublease a car, and then you literally just rent it out on like a platform that takes care of the marketing for you. They take care of the background checks, all of that kind of stuff, and
yeah,
collect a check. So
okay,
it's still, it's still working, but because it's so passive, it doesn't need a lot of my time. And I could really put most of my time into real estate.
smart. You're very smart. I see brains. How they say it? Brains and what?
Yeah. So all through trial and error though. It didn't go as smooth as it sounds. I'll say
Right.
that. But you learn through all of like the bumps in the road. And that's really, why I'm able to kind of speak about it now. Because if I was
Right.
going through it right now, I probably would not be able to talk about it so easily.
No, no, I understand. I understand. I mean, you're very, very busy. And I appreciate your time. So a lot of people that I do actually interview on a daily basis, they're very busy too. And like catching them certain time is so hard. But I appreciate your time. Seriously, like this is very important, especially for the people that's looking to start like investing in homes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They'll be more like motivated and maybe even come to you
Hopefully,
for
yeah.
advice, because you do actually teach people too, don't you?
Well, yeah. So I personally in my office, I work with a lot of first-time investors. And by no means am I like an expert, by no means do I know it all. I just
Right,
know what I know and I know to stay in my lane. Um, but yeah, I mean, people come into our office, we set meetings like all the time just with people who want to just start and don't know where to start.
right.
And because we work like I personally work with like over 400 investors and yes, and it's like a combination of experiences. So not only, may they be learning from me, but I am learning like 10 times that from them because they're actually the ones that are doing it. They're getting their hands dirty. They're putting the money up front. Um,
Right.
so I get to learn through them, which is pretty cool because it's really no risk for me. But I'm learning to just be like a sponge and absorb it all. So I come here, on platforms like this or Instagram or wherever I'm at, just trying to reshare that what I do know because it can be of value to somebody.
And it's a pleasure to have you on my podcast, your first interview podcast.
This is my first
So
podcast.
I feel very special about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you in Atlanta, so there's a lot of people that usually do podcasts,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Podcasting is
I feel
big.
honored. It's
It
big down there, right?
it is. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, Monét, so let's get back into real estate. When we take a look at the real estate and stuff like that, so how is real estate in Atlanta in general compared to New York? I mean, you did some in New York, and now you're in Atlanta. So,
Hmm.
what's the difference between those two states,
Yeah.
Georgia and?
So the big difference, well, before I kind of touch on that, just to kind of touch a little bit more on like the sector of real estate that I'm in, because I think sometimes when people hear real estate agent, they think of, like a retail agent, someone that's listing your home on the MLS, somebody that's staging it, making it look nice, taking offers. We're on like the back end of that.
Okay,
So I work with again like investors, and the process looks very different. Um, like if a house on the retail market may close in 30 to 60 days, a house with us closes in like 7 to 10 days, right? You only have like 48 hours to buy from us. It has to be all cash, or it has to be some sort of cash financing. We don't do your conventional loans from Bank of America or Wells Fargo. So the concept of wholesaling is essentially that we get a property under contract with a motivated seller. The
right.
situation can vary, right? Sometimes it could be directly from an investor. We sometimes get our properties from the MLS, expired listings, or sometimes it could be direct to a seller where that is, has a foreclosure or sub to that sort of thing. And then we line up end buyers and we flip the contract. So we make our money on the difference between the price that we got it from the seller and the price that we got it from the buyer. Um, so that's how we make our money. And in New York, what I realized is that a lot of people are not familiar, not even that they're not familiar with wholesaling, but I ran into so many people that thought it was like illegal, that thought I was trying to scam them. Like it was the craziest thing.
You
Um,
making me think about like, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like sometimes when I come at home, like to my house, I'll see like papers saying like we can buy your house. Are you in
mhm.
those? You one
Yes,
of those people?
that's pretty much what we do. When I was actually in Buffalo, I put those signs up. Like I put the banner signs up that said, "I will buy your house cash, quick close," like that sort of thing. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So that's a wholesaler pretty much. And maybe now they've gotten more well known and the concept is coming up because I know like in some states you need a license to do it. Before you could just kind of do it off the street. But it was difficult finding an attorney that would do an assignment closing. it was difficult getting real estate agents to work with me. So I did a lot of JV deals, joint venture deals with other wholesalers who were more experienced in the game.
Yeah.
Down here, it's the complete opposite. Like I didn't know what I was walking into. Every single person is a wholesaler. Like it's crazy.
Wow,
Um,
that's
yeah, and
crazy.
it is. And the connotation of wholesaling down here has gotten like diluted in a way because it's just so oversaturated. But I chose to go with this company because they've made a name in the market down here, and they're the largest. We do the most transactions in Atlanta right now, so that's it's super helpful. You know what I mean, to have that credibility behind you.
No, seriously, and I mean they have an excellent person like in their team as of right now. And you are very hardworking. So I know you guys will be doing a great job. I know how competitive like selling houses, buying houses can be like
Mhm.
in today's world, especially nowadays with the prices going up.
Mhm.
A lot of people, all prices going down. A lot of people hesitate to either sell their home
Mhm.
or buy a home. So
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, so that goes to my next question. I mean, you just kind of like answered it between competition and stuff like that. So what makes you totally different? So let's speak about you as a person, like you, Monét, you know? What makes you different compared to either your fellow peers like in your group, your fellow competitors, like on a different end of whatever Atlanta, either doing wholesaling too. What makes you different when it comes to like doing this type of business?
Yeah. Um, so I think that like personally and professionally, like standing out, they're like intertwined, right?
Okay.
Like if you stand out in like your personal life or you do things that most people don't do, or like again, like most people in our generation don't really do, then naturally that's gonna transfer over into your career or your business or whatever you're looking to do. You're gonna find ways to stand out. So I think with me starting early on, there was one specific book that I read that really like did a 180 from my mindset. And it was the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You got the book?
I got the book.
Got
Let
the
me
book?
bring it. Let me show them. Let me show them 1 second.
In the book. It's that book like changed my life.
All right. So I got like two copies. So one is, let me show you. Let me show you.
Mhm.
So I got this.
Oh yeah, you got both of them. You got the cash flow quadrant and yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, this is the book she was talking about.
I read that book every single year, at least once a year, because listen, like this is really I think what made me drop out of college was Robert, because if you look in it, you see his
Let's blame it on Robert, man.
you'll see his views on college, and I instantly just clicked with every single concept that he explained. So that book was pretty much, the turning point. For a while was like, I'm not gonna party anymore. You know what I mean? I'm gonna drop out. And especially in my family, like that wasn't what you did. You know what I mean? In my group of friends, everybody was going to college. I think I literally just decided to rebel a little bit, but that rebellion, even to this day, I still will rebel. I'll push the limits a little bit, you know.
Right.
Even like when I'm dealing with investors, sometimes you have to think outside the box. When you're working a deal or when you're putting a deal together, you have to train your mind and really like callous your mind. I love that word, callous. David Goggins uses that word. But you have to callous your mind to be able to think in different ways that other people aren't thinking. And it's like a train of thought that can take place and ultimately just lead to more action. So I think that's really what it was. Every day I wake up just looking for a new challenge. You know what I mean? And not
Definitely.
giving up until I've conquered that.
Definitely, definitely. And that's a great way to actually put yourself forward, like as a competitor. Like, I mean, you know yourself better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you said, when you, for example, isolate yourself from distractions, parties, this and that, you put yourself first, especially uh, everything that you're doing does climb up the ladder as well. So, like, good stuff, Monét. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
and I also want to add too, just never comparing yourself with other people. Cause yes, it's good to understand that you have competition,
Right,
but one thing I have to remind, because in this office is very competitive. In this industry, it is very competitive, and it's so easy to get caught up in the numbers and the statistics. Because literally every day we're reminded of how many sales we got, how many people we met, how many calls we made. So it's very easy to compare yourself to the next person. You know, you have to look in the mirror, right? You have to understand that you're your own competition. Just simply ask yourself, like, did I do better than I did yesterday? Did I do better today? You know,
right,
and put that challenge on yourself, and you'll see that you don't really need to look at anybody else, because at the end of the day, your goals are completely different than their goals. Your opportunities are completely different than their opportunities. The resources you have are different than the resources they have. So it really doesn't benefit anyone to make that kind of comparison.
yeah. Just to elaborate on that, I mean, as you said, never compare yourself to anyone, but also remember this: your only competition is you. You know, like you versus you. So if you
Mhm.
wake up today and you're feeling a little bit crazy, you don't want to do nothing, and then you forget to do like an assignment, com- compete with yourself the next day to double that, at least to do at least two assignments, you know. So
Right.
yeah, yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Like, I mean, I hope you're listening to Monet. I mean, that's why I brought her on here because I've seen you actually doing your little walking, you know, different homes, you know, just
Yeah.
showing. And I'm like, okay, she know what she's talking about. So let me just get that little interview going.
And I'm still learning. Like I'm a newbie still. You know, I haven't even done an actual project. Like I haven't, bought a house or flipped a house. I'm around so many people who are doing it, so it's simple to understand. But
Right,
there's different levels. There's so many different sectors of real estate. You can really just pick and choose. But that's another thing, is humbling yourself, to receive more information and constantly keep learning. This is an industry that
right.
is ever changing. All right. So being able to just to make myself coachable and teachable, I think that provides a huge benefit not only to myself but to people around me.
You know, that's crazy because my parents has have always gave me the same advice.
Mhm.
Like when you're in the room, act as if you don't know. Be like a student of the game. So when you act like you know too much, people will not even show interest into trying to like help you like elevate in some way, you know. So they like be like a student of the game, you know. So which is very, 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 very important. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, so my next question is, you doing real estate, are you planning on just staying in ATL, just doing it there, or are you also looking to move to different states and do some real estate there as well?
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Yeah, so the long term for me, it's like I learn so much every day. I'm still just kind of like, I don't even know. But essentially, yeah, I do want to move around. I would like to be able to develop homes. I'd like
Right,
to be able to revive neighborhoods. One thing that I'm very attracted to right now is new development. Lately, I've been working with a lot more developers, and just seeing how creative you can get with new development, it's very inspiring to me. So I'm looking forward to doing a lot more of that. I don't plan on staying in ATL too long, to be honest. It has
right.
its pros, but it also has its cons. But me just naturally, I just really like to explore other markets and see what else is going on. So you guys will see soon, where I'll be, where I'm traveling to.
All right, let me know. Let me know for sure. And we
Yeah.
still have to link up.
Yes, we do.
We still have to link up. I'm planning actually to come to ATL because I'm trying to see like how the media industry there operates. So that way, I mean,
Yeah,
since now you know the city and the state, you could show me around.
yeah. I think ATL is like the capital. I don't know if I'm saying this right, or the headquarters of CNN. The CNN headquarters are
Oh yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. CNN is there. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, so I know you're in communication, so that could be an opportunity.
Definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
Well, I see here we have at least 8 minutes because yeah, this Zoom is showing 8 minutes or whatever. So we could go ahead and just close up. But my few last questions will be um what advice would you give to the people that's looking into starting like real estate? As you being able to at least start it on your own. You didn't have nobody telling you like step by step, this and that. You was on YouTube 24/7, just learning everything, reading books. So what advice would you give to the other person that's looking to doing the same thing that you're doing as of today?
Yeah, so like information, like knowledge is truly power in this industry. You know, the more you know, the more tools that you have in your tool belt. You know what I mean? The more you can strategize, the more exit strategies that you have. So
Right.
really just learn as much as you can. I think my mistake in the beginning, or something I learned, I'll say in the beginning, is I had a lot of trial and error moments, where I was just like, I'm just gonna try this and see if it works. Where now I realize like I could have literally just hired like a mentor, or I was doing courses, but maybe taking more advantage of the knowledge that I was using in those courses. But I think the best advice I would give is hire a mentor, because it will shorten your learning curve so much. They'll literally give you a blueprint of step by step of what
Yeah,
you need to do. And, it cuts out all of the trial error situations. So, yes, hire a mentor and figure out what strategy you want to do in real estate. People will bombard you with so much stuff. They'll be like, you should flip, you should rent, you should Airbnb, you should do this, you should wholesale. Like, pick one, start out with it, and hire a mentor to teach you how to do it and do it well. That's what I'll say.
definitely. And I hope y'all got that down. I hope y'all had your pen and paper and just writing the advice down because yeah, that's very, very important. Thank you so much for that information and for your time as well. But just so you know, this is a Sip and Chow podcast. You gotta at least have a little drink on like next to you. It don't matter, water, whatever. And we gotta do a little cheers because it's been a long time.
Like,
So I
I'm
hope you okay, perfect. I hope you got something. So
try to drink like 3 of these a day.
oh, you're there. I see that's why your skin looking like good.
I'm
All
trying.
right. What you said?
I said I'm trying.
You trying, right? All
Yeah.
right, Monét. So let's do a little cheers for your presence today. Cheers to that.
Yes.
I got a little Gatorade in here, so it's not too crazy.
No, I appreciate it. This was actually pretty dope. I hope I dropped some kind of gems. You guys could
Oh, you
definitely,
sure did.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'm ready to help as much as I can. So
definitely, definitely. And thank you so much for your time. I mean, this is getting close to an end. So we're just gonna close up. This is East Sip and Chat podcast with the one and only, Glory Boy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And appreciate our special guest, Monét. And I hope every one of you that was watching did at least get some sort of knowledge from this because it's very important. Like I said, the whole purpose of this is for someone or anyone to share either opinions, to share experiences on certain things they've done. So this is Issip Child podcast. So I try to make people just feel comfortable in that zone. And remember, it's a no judgment zone. So I think I can have you on here some other time. We could talk about some other stuff. And yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that.